Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reliving the Lights, a Friday Night Lights rewatch podcast. We are here for episode 10. And I got to tell you, Anthony, I had an excellent time watching our episodes for tonight.
I did as well. Yeah.
It brought back like the joy of watching the first time and how much fun it was. A lot of stuff I didn't remember, and just a lot of laughs in these episodes. They're pretty
There's
comical.
some real, genuine laugh out loud moments.
Yes, multiple times in both episodes. Well, yeah, we're going to record 2 episodes tonight, but behind the curtain. But had a great time watching this. So I'm super excited to talk about it tonight. We both got in the spirit tonight by wearing jerseys.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Happenstance.
I am wearing literally my very own number 54 Platt Black Panthers home jersey from high school football that I wore. So kind of like Riggins refers to Saracen as 7 and Street as 6. You can just refer to me as 54 tonight. Good linebacker number. And you've got the Gonzaga jersey.
Yeah, a Gonzaga jersey number 2 that I bought in 2006-ish. It must have been. I know it was when Adam Morrison was playing for them.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure I was still in high school, which I guess makes it appropriate because the show, the
2006.
episode that we're reviewing was 2006.
Yep.
It is number 2 for Gonzaga, a jersey that I bought for what must have been an unreasonably cheap price. Shields. I remember buying it and being like, "Oh, I can afford this." And in 2006, I didn't have the kind of money for jerseys. So.
Yeah, you were on that Platt Food Center paycheck.
Yes, I was. So, it must have been super affordable, and I've worn it. This is maybe for sure in the first 35 times that I've worn this. It has not gotten a lot of wear in the intervening 14 years.
Yeah. Jerseys are tough for a grown man to wear unless you're at a sporting event.
Especially basketball jerseys.
Yeah.
Because there's no sleeves. It's you're limited to a certain season of the year. And
yep. I got a very, very convincing, what I believe to be a very convincing Chinese knockoff of the Memphis Grizzlies throwback jerseys, the Vancouver Grizzlies jerseys, maybe the best jerseys in sports. As a big Grizzlies fan, I have been rocking that this summer as a grown man, but literally I don't think I've worn an athletic jersey since, I don't know, maybe my Reggie White Green Bay Packers jersey or my Penny Hardaway. I think Penny Hardaway was my last basketball jersey, and that had to be 7th grade or something. So
also number 2, if I'm not mistaken, Penny
Hardaway. Oh no, Penny's 1 cent.
One. Baby. Oh, duh.
Yeah. No, that's all right. That's all right.
I knew it was a low number, but
yep.
I myself I do rock my Chinese knockoff Juju Smith-Schuster jersey that on game day usually.
Yeah.
During football season, but I bought that. I'm very proud of that jersey because although it was very cheap, I bought it Juju's rookie year.
Oh, yeah.
A year in which Roethlisberger, Brown and Bell were all playing for the Steelers.
Oh, geez.
And for some reason, something drew me to Juju, and thank God that I bought the jersey that I did because the team has really fallen apart in those 3 years since.
Yeah, Juju coming through for you. That's good. That's good. Well, yeah, we are dressed for the occasion. We are excited to talk about this episode. So, why don't you start us off with a little synopsis from IMDb, if you would.
Yeah, let me get it pulled up. I'm underprepared.
While you are pulling that up, I would just like to make it known that I am now officially a contributor to imdb.com. I submitted my quote of the week nominations to IMDb quote section for each of the episodes. So when you go to look up the quotes, mine will be on there.
Heck yeah. I'm extremely proud. Okay. Our synopsis, as almost always, written by Movie Dude 1.
Almost always, yes.
So far, I think he's batting 1,000, but we're so early in the show that I don't want to make the call and say it's always, but
yeah, we'll see.
While everyone is focused on the cheerleaders who have given up. Sorry, let's start that over again.
This isn't Movie Dude 1's fault this time.
Yeah, no, that one's on me. Yeah. I had a few before we started recording.
Fair enough.
While everyone is focused on the cheerleaders who have an upcoming competition, they focus on giving Lyla a hard time. Smash begins to show signs of steroid abuse, and Coach Taylor finds another way to occupy his starting quarterback in an effort to squash Matt's efforts with the coach's daughter.
Thank you, Movie Dude 1. I think pretty grammatically solid too this week. So
not terrible. You could have maybe just said Julie instead of Coach's daughter because you already mentioned Coach Taylor earlier in the sentence.
Yeah. Still just 2 sentences. He really likes the 2-sentence synopsis, no matter how long it is. But
correct.
I just something stuck out to me there. Smash begins to show signs of steroid abuse. Like he's good at football. Is that what you're referring to? I feel like he already had the acne.
And
Oh, I guess the bloody noses.
Right. Is that in this episode or is it in episode 11? We'll find out.
Well, yeah. So this episode.
Sorry, before we go into that, I do want to mention, because we usually do.
Oh yeah.
That I'm drinking probably the most Texas beer.
Oh yeah.
That you can get in South Dakota. The Shiner Bock.
Yep.
I was in my local Walmart today. Also, probably the most Texas beer you can buy in probably most Walmarts outside of Texas.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Walmart, not a friend of the show. The Walton family, not friends of the show. However, I was in there. I had to pick up a few necessities, so it was kind of a necessary evil, as it were.
Yep.
And I chanced by the beer section. I thought, you know what, this would be appropriate because we are recording tonight. So
yeah,
Shiner Bock for me.
Shiner Bock, just a solid drinking beer. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fancy, but it's a step above your Bud Lights and your Busch Lights and all that. But yeah, Shiner Bock. I have what's known around these parts as a Kuiper Special. I don't think I've talked about the Kuiper Special yet.
I think you have. Yeah,
I have. Okay,
there's one bar that'll do it for you, right in the area.
Yep, that might have just been a you and me conversation.
Okay, right. Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm not sure if
but this is a Bloody Mary mix, Busch Light, and a Clausen's garlic dill pickle. And if you go to the Ridge in Sioux Center, the clubhouse of the golf course, if you order a Kuiper Special, they should be able to whip one up for you. They'll know what you're talking about. So, all right, that's what we're drinking. And you know what we're wearing and what we're drinking. Anything else to set the scene, or are we good to go?
I think that covers it, yeah.
All right. So this episode is called It's Different for Girls.
Yes.
And it opens with Lyla wiping off some demeaning graffiti that has been put on her locker. It looked like lipstick, written on her locker in lipstick, calling her out on her behaviors with Tim, I guess we'll just say. And so she is late to practice because of it. She's kind of failing at being a cheerleader. It's really taking its toll on her concentration and all that.
Yeah, we really see Lyla deal with some slut shaming and some cyberbullying and the whole 9 yards over these next couple of episodes. I think specifically this one, which is it's
yes.
As somebody who has trash talked Lyla in the past on this program, I'll be the first to step out and say that I do feel really bad for her, this particular episode.
Yeah. She takes some really tough shots from kind of all over the place in this one. In fact, as she is struggling with the cheerleading, I guess it's not so much her fault. It's everyone around her. But anyway, one of the comments, this is maybe a little PG-13 here, but one of the other cheerleaders comments, it's like Reagan's banged the balance right out of her. So she's taking it pretty hard. They're not going easy on her. So that will be one of many scenes where Lyla is being shamed. Next, we see Julie and Matt talking about their relationship or whatever it is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of what to do about Coach Taylor, basically.
Yeah, Julie invites Matt over, and Matt tries to kind of, as we're working with potentially doing a Matt Saracen Goofus Maloofus moment of the week. And I think this
yes.
qualifies for it because he's
absolutely
kind of like fumbling through a apology for kissing her after the game.
Yeah.
And
he's saying sorry for kissing her. Okay.
Yeah. And she just stops him and kisses him and says, "This is what I thought about the kiss after the game." So
that was a good response, Julie. Yeah. Just let him know. Boom.
Yep. But yeah, she does mention during the conversation, I believe this was this conversation where she's like, you just need to stand up to him. Like he's he's ridiculous and he just is so used to, whatever, being the pushy one. So you just have to stand up to him and he'll react to it. And we'll see Matt try that later in the episode and we'll see how it works out for him.
It goes about as well for this Goofus Maloofus as you would imagine. We see Jason moving back home from rehab and his parents have got the house as ADA compliant as possible, it seems. One thing I noted was they kind of converted his dad's office into his room, and his mom had put a picture of Lyla up in the bedroom, and he chucks that down. Mm. And I don't know, I felt like as he is returning to normal life, quote unquote, normal life, that was kind of one of those moments where he realizes like, yeah, I'm going back to normal life, but everything has changed, including Lyla, and his parents aren't necessarily like up to speed with all that. They don't even understand, I guess, the changes and whatnot, how everything has changed for Jason. So next we see the Taylors in the car. I know you like yourself a good Taylor family moment. So
I do love the Taylors and these special moments that they have in the car together. Julie reveals to Coach that she, Matt, and Landry plan to go to a music festival not far away that weekend. Coach, I don't know if he is making this up on the spot or if he actually intended to, but he says no. The football team has to go and support the cheerleaders who have like cheer nationals or something like that.
Yeah.
There is a great Coach moment where Tammy, who in the next episode talks to Landry like they're friends or like that they know each other.
Exactly. I noted that too. Yes.
Yeah. Is like, who's this Landry guy? I don't know if I trust this. And Coach, after hearing Landry's name at least twice, is like, oh, that Lance kid.
Yes. So this reveals to me that it's not just Coach like not remembering his name. He is intentionally calling him by the wrong name. He's intentionally calling him Lance.
Yeah.
Which is great. Yes.
So ridiculous. We do get a quick cut back to the Street family.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how they're going to have a meeting with a lawyer.
Yes.
About potentially suing the school, which Street isn't 100% sure about.
No. Yeah. He's pretty skeptical, but not like super resisting it yet. And then they leave Jason home for the day while they go to work. We see Smash way too aggressively flagging down the new girl.
Yeah, just school. Some girl he doesn't. Well, we think that he doesn't know. It's just the new girl.
He doesn't know that he knows.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he comes up on her and says, yo, slow up. Talk to the Smash.
It's way too aggressive. But it turns out he knows her. It's the pastor's daughter, the pastor from his church, Waverly. And I got to say, we are in the Waverly era of the Smash story. And it's a ride for sure. Waverly, not my favorite character in the show. I'm just going to tip my hand right now. Although I guess now, I haven't thought about this, but now I'm feeling a little sympathetic to some of her struggles. That's right.
Personally, I don't have a lot of recollection of what happens with Waverly outside of one wonderful Smash line that we'll see.
The quote of the series.
Yes, arguably.
We keep building it up. We keep referring to it.
But, I'm excited to dive into this Waverly storyline because it did not stick out to me, apparently, or at least it didn't stick with me. But once again, this is my first time watching through the series in over a decade.
Yeah, it's been some time for you. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So then the players are talking about it in the locker room. Ooh. And there's a quote here. I might just, I think I'll just save it for quote of the episode.
Okay.
Between Smash and Saracen. So they are kind of giving Smash a little crap for going after the preacher's daughter. And then Smash kind of turns it back on Saracen, or somebody turns it back on Saracen and basically says, Saracen's going to get with Julie with Coach Taylor's daughter before you get with the preacher's daughter.
Yep. And we get a brilliantly shot angle where Smash says something disparaging about Julie sexually.
Yes.
And Matt, who probably would have acted like this anyway, but he can see Coach as this is all being said. And he's like, I think you need to shut up, man. And
I think now would be a good time to stop talking.
Yeah. And Smash is like, he keeps like kind of egging it on. And then, of course, we see Coach kind of step in and he grabs the other kid.
Yeah.
Who made the initial comment.
Yep.
And then gives Saracen just this really stern point,
stare, and that's it.
Yeah.
Not a word, but enough was said.
Didn't need it. Yeah, didn't need a word.
Yeah, it didn't go over well. We get more of the cheerleaders harassing Lyla. Their coach is a real hard ass for a cheerleading coach. I mean, maybe that's common. I don't know. I've never been on a cheerleading team, but she's pretty rough, pretty tough on Lyla.
One of the girls drops her.
Oh, yes. Intentionally. Oh, like my arm hurts. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold you up. And then sure enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so a little fight breaks out there. A little confrontation. We see the neighbors coming over to talk to Jason. The little neighbor kid, probably like 8 years old. It's the biggest teeth I've ever seen. It's that notable that it needs to be pointed out, I think.
He says to Street, he's like, can you walk or something like that?
That's his opening line.
Yeah, he says, Mr. Street, can you walk? And I was like, geez, cold. And even more coldly, Angie is like, can you shut your mouth, kid? I was like, wow, even more, you went a little too far with it.
Yeah. So they have a little interaction. It's not terribly important, but through that process, we see that Lyla is creeping in her car on the street, just sitting there in her car outside of Jason's home. Jason goes over, approaches her, tells her to never come back. So Lyla already taken about 5 shots straight to the dome in this episode already, and we're not even probably a third of the way through.
Yes. Then right after that we get more Lyla.
Just keeps coming.
And she is sitting by herself in the cafeteria, and a couple of randos just come over and just start macking on her, in a just extremely crass way.
I couldn't tell if they were trying to get with her or just being
trying to be jerks.
Yeah, it was confusing. So they're harassing her. Tim Riggins steps in and basically tells him to go away, but Lyla responds, "What are you doing? You're sitting with the school slut," and explains to Tim that, as the title states,
it's different for girls.
Exactly. That Tim can kind of sleep around however much he wants, but Lyla is labeled and shamed if she does anything even remotely similar, which, it was cheating on her. It was one dude, basically. So just pointing out the double standard, I guess, for sleeping around. That's where the title comes from. Lyla basically says, "You're making it worse, Tim. Go away."
Yeah.
So Tim rejected once again, trying to help out, trying to be a good guy. Nope. Go away, Tim. You're making it worse. And then Tyra chases Tim down after he leaves. And what the heck was that? You're making it so much worse for Lyla. But then Tyra has this moment where she's like, wait a minute. You're in love with her, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
So she calls him out on that.
We do see Buddy in action, selling cars.
Yep. Oh, he's on fire. He's hot.
He is hot. He's got a Bluetooth in.
Yes. The old school Bluetooth headset. Yes. Yeah.
And a man comes in and he's like, "Hey man, I'm hot. Be careful. You talk to me for too long, I'll have you walking out of here with a brand new truck."
Yep.
But the man is actually there to let him know that there is some pretty heavy and nasty cyberbullying going on with Lyla.
Yep.
The man who tells Buddy this is actually the father of the girl who started it.
Yep.
Which I want to talk about that for a second.
Yeah. Okay.
Because up until that point, and granted, this is a different kind of situation, but up until this point in the show, Buddy Garrity, despite being a member of the community and a big booster of the football team, I have a hard time believing that any person in town has enough respect for him to bring this to him, and not only to bring it to him in general, but also to admit their fault and say, "This is a member of my family that did it."
Yeah.
Everyone in town seems to kind of hate Buddy.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting. I made note of that.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, I don't think anybody has a terribly high opinion of Buddy and Dylan. I mean, when it comes to the Panthers, they probably see him as a necessary evil.
Yeah,
like he gets things done. But no, this dude was very somber and very kind of torn up about it. So, maybe he just feels mostly bad for Lyla, and so he wants to, for Lila's sake, get Buddy out in front of it. But
I want to say, Brad Leland, who plays Buddy Garrity, was who I had in my mind when I read Under the Dome by Stephen King, which later got turned into a television series that basically just completely bastardized the book.
Yeah.
Which, it's going to happen. Even if it's a 1,000-page book, you got to stretch it out into a series. There's only so much you can do.
Yep.
And they actually cast Hank from Breaking Bad in it, which is not a bad choice.
Oh, yeah. There's similar
vibes.
Similar vibe, yeah. Similar look, similar vibe.
But Big Jim Rennie from Under the Dome. If you ever get a chance to read it, and trust me, like I said, it's an over 1,000-page book. It's not a casual reader.
I remember. It had to be about 2011, 2012. I had that book checked out from the library for 3 months. I just kept renewing it and being like, I know this is a book that I would like. I need to keep going, but I just could not. It was too big.
As far as late period King goes, it's definitely not his worst.
Yeah, well,
I liked it. Obviously it's a bit long. As far as his 1,000+ pagers go, which I think I've read all of them.
Yeah.
It's the worst of them.
Okay.
It's worse than it, and it's worse than The Stand. I think that's the only 3 that he's gone over 1,000 pages on. I might be mistaken on that, but
was it really that long? I don't remember it being that long, but all right.
Yep, it is. My paperback, my trade paperback copy I had was 1,200 pages, and I have a hardcover copy now that's just a little over 1,000, I think. So I can double check on that for you. It's not really that important right now, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I had a lot of fun with it. It's definitely not one that it could have been 200 or 300 pages shorter for sure.
Yeah,
but and
I feel like any 1,000+ page book probably could have been 200 or 300 pages shorter. Yeah. But Hank from Breaking Bad and Buddy Garrity, I you know what? I could see Hank from Breaking Bad as Buddy Garrity on Friday Night Lights.
I don't know if even though he's bald, I don't know if he seems old enough. But maybe that's
I see them as, I see Breaking Bad Hank as about the same age as Buddy Garrity.
Okay.
They both have, no, they don't, he doesn't have any kids on Breaking Bad, but he has a sister who has a high school age kid.
That's true.
So it could work. I'm just going to say that Friday Night Lights was pretty perfectly cast, but if I was going to make a switch, if I had to make a switch, I could see Dean Norris in place of Buddy Garrity. I wouldn't choose to, but if I had to.
Could, in this hypothetical universe, could then in that situation, let's say Dean Norris gets cast in 2006 as Buddy Garrity. Can Brad Leland get cast as Hank Schrader?
My gut reaction is no, because Hank Schrader needs to have a little badass in him.
Yeah.
And I don't think Brad Leland's got that badass in him. I think he's got the sleazeball, and Hank's got the sleazeball, but I don't think Brad Leland's got the badass. So
I think you're right. I agree.
I don't think they can switch places. So Dean Norris is greater than Brad Leland in our acting world.
I think it's one of those. There was that meme on Twitter not too long ago where it was like, so and so could do this, but so it was like, Lord could do "Oops, I Did It Again," but Britney Spears could never do Royals.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, absolutely. Could Lord do "Oops, I Did"?
I don't know, and that was I don't know where I used that example from. It's definitely not one, but
yeah, I dispute that.
That's the idea of the bit.
Man, I feel like we could have some fun recasting Friday Night Lights.
Well, we already know Dwight Yoakam as that's Coach Taylor.
That's a shoe-in.
Now we got Dean Norris as Buddy Garrity. So
so we've got a couple. If any more cross your mind, let's be sure to mention it. All right, back to our episode.
Yes, we got the Taylor family sitting down eating. Tammy Taylor, I don't know if you noticed this. Angie actually didn't. But Tammy Taylor has a heavy wine pour in her glass.
Not uncommon for Tammy in the evenings.
That far from the tip of the glass.
Yes, almost overflowing.
Full wine glass.
I did not notice. Around. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, we see the Taylor family, and there's a knock at the door, and I believe they were having supper. Tammy and Coach kind of gives this like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" and like gets up, and it's Matt at the door. Julie, well, then it's super awkward. Matt, I'm a Goofus Maloofus. Is Julie here? And Julie comes up, saves Matt, says, "We are watching some TV," and brings him into the house.
Yes. Okay, so well, actually, right before we actually see Matt and Julie watching TV, we do get a short scene of Street meeting with the lawyer. The lawyer's trying to kind of lead him into a case. Like he's trying to be like, "Well, did you ever learn how not to tackle?"
Yeah.
And Street's like, screw this. I'm not getting involved in this.
Yeah, he kind of comes to the realization that they're not going after the school necessarily. The lawyer wants to go right after Coach Taylor. Yeah. He's trying to pin the injury, Jason's injury, on Coach Taylor for never teaching him how to tackle. And so, he gets pretty ticked off at that. He doesn't want any part of that. So then, we go back to the Taylor family, and we got some. This is gold. There's some great lines in here. There are some great moments.
Some very, very solid back and forth in this, and I only unfortunately wrote down the closing one of the scene. So I'm going to let you handle.
Yeah. So we see Coach Taylor and Tammy in their bedroom playing cards, and Coach is just pacing. Obviously like super anxious about what's happening under his roof. And Tammy says, "Honey, will you stop pacing, please?" And Coach Taylor says, "What do you suppose they're doing in there?" And Tammy responds, "Probably having sex." Which is
savage move by Tammy Taylor.
Savage Tammy. So eventually Coach makes up some excuse to go out to the living room to see what's going on, and he basically ambushes them, like barges into the room. "Hey guys, how's it going? Like, what's going on out here?" And questions them about the blanket that they have over.
About the blanket.
Classic dad move, I guess. What's up with the blanket? And so then the next. Oh no! He basically chases Matt out of the house.
Yeah,
freaks out. He is super embarrassed, super nervous, super scared, and just kind of.
He's like, "How much longer is the program?"
The program, like my grandma recording her programs on the VCR. Back to episode 1, I believe, on that one, but or maybe the teaser episode. Anyway, so Matt is in full Goofus Maloofus mode, just kind of bumbling his way out of the house.
I actually should be going.
Yeah. And so Julie is not happy with her father that this happened. Basically, it storms out almost in tears. Thanks a lot, Dad. And Tammy comes out, which leads to the line that I believe you have.
Yeah. So Tammy comes down and is trying to figure out what happened. Coach holds up the blanket and just says, they had a blanket. And Tammy looks at it and just says, you're an idiot. Which I thought this whole scene was really special because, like, in the last episode, if I'm not mistaken, Tammy was like terrified about Matt Saracen being like a predator. And now, like, she seems to be really coming around and like trying to remind Coach that he's a good kid.
Yeah. I feel like Tammy is just kind of realizing that they can't stop it. Like, it's going to happen. And so there are worse things that could, but I do feel like, and maybe I'm mistaken, but she kind of picks up her concern again later with like, or maybe that was earlier in this episode, like, this is happening. Sarah, Matt and Julie is happening, and what are we going to do about it? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
We do have a short scene where Lyla finds the Lyla Garrity slam page, and she's kind of just looking at it, and Buddy comes in and kind of somberly says his good nights.
Yep.
And doesn't want to push the issue, but you can tell he knows.
Yeah, he's pretty torn up.
Kind of an unspoken,
Yeah, so then we see the pep rally. Basically, Coach says, we're going to support the cheerleaders. Usually the cheerleaders support us. We're going to support the cheerleaders in their big competition. And yes.
Sorry, I do want to mention before the pep rally starts, like, the band is playing.
Okay, yes. Yeah, talk about that.
Both Landry and Julie are seen in the crowd doing this, like, choreographed dance between that and the Yahoo that Landry let out in earlier episodes.
Yes.
Pep rally tells me that Landry is way more into Dylan Panther football than he lets on, especially in the episode with Kirk Caster, which is like taking Kirk's side and mad about Matt becoming an athlete, because Landry very clearly loves his Dylan Panthers.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe he's just really excited to not be in class or something, but he is enthusiastically participating in these pep rally activities for sure. I did note Julie's awkward dance move. It was weird. I don't know. I feel like as a trained dancer on the dance team, that she'd have a little something more to offer than.
That's what I said. My theory is that it's a choreographed dance that, like, the entire Dillon High School knows.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of the Macarena, but in a more micro sense, that, like, everybody's maybe taught it in elementary school and everybody does it at the pep rallies.
Yeah. And
that's why she and Landry are both doing it.
So that actually, I was going to save this, but that actually flows into my music cue, which is the pep band was playing Rock and Roll Part 2, which is a classic pep band song, which is like the dun 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 dun, hey, go Panthers, is what we would have done. Mm-hmm. So that is like a classic pep rally song that would probably get played at a lot of games. So I think that supports your theory that, you know, maybe they do have their own little choreographed routine to go with it.
Okay. However, I just want to note that Gary Glitter, the writer of Rock and Roll Part 2, not a friend of the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
His name is Gary Glitter?
Yes. Well, I don't know if that's his real name, but that's his stage name. But.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Gary Glitter after the show, because I want to know more. We're going to keep rolling. So Panthers, the cheerleaders who support us, we're going to support the cheerleaders in their big thing. And then all of our favorite Dylan Panthers come out dressed as real ugly cheerleaders. Yes. Yeah, in drag, exactly.
Smash is hamming it up.
Oh my gosh.
As usual. And the crowd is loving it.
I can't even like describe what the bit that Smash is doing. Like,
yeah, well,
like I'm too sexy for this.
I don't know. Like, okay, I just want to go back to the beginning. So the like notable players. So it's like Riggins, Smash, because half the football team is already out on
right. Yeah,
but the notable players: Smash, Riggins, Saracen, the redheaded guy.
Right, redheaded lineman.
Yeah. I'll come out dressed in drag. They do this kind of like Rockettes bit where they're, yes. Their arms are around and they're doing the kicks.
Yeah.
Saracen does a backflip.
Yes, he does.
over some of the arms.
Yeah, right. They all got their arms around each other's shoulders and he does the backflip, which, it took some work, I would assume.
And then, Smash does this bit where he's like showing off his butt to people like scandalously when he's got obviously clothes under there.
Boxers.
Yeah, it's a very weird bit, but the crowd is loving it.
Yeah, there's some girls in the front row like motioning, like spanking motions. Like, woo. Smash knows how to run a pep rally.
He absolutely does. Smash knows how to get the people going.
There were no freestyle rap-ish things from Smash in this pep rally as we're accustomed to, but yeah, the drag showing off his underwear thing, really.
In my head canon, if the football thing didn't work out for Smash, he is now a wedding DJ and extremely good at it.
That is actually perfect. Yeah. That's
like he's like one of those wedding DJs who makes like $5,000 a gig and is booked like a year out and a half out in advance. Like,
this is a Smash wedding.
He's not some corny wedding DJ. He's making bank. And he's good at what he does.
I mean, no spoilers. I won't give any spoilers here, but we only really know what happens to Smash like through college by the end of the series, right?
Right.
So there's really no saying that that's not what happened. You know what I mean? That could be the case.
In my head canon, that's what happens. So.
Did you have any problems? I wasn't sure how to feel. Did you have any problems with the whole Panthers and drag thing, or was that okay?
No, that was fine with me.
Okay, I didn't know how to feel.
Sorry, if anybody is listening to this and finds that offensive.
Yeah,
okay. That's woke enough, but I
didn't know if this was canceled or not. If this was one of our canceled moments, but as far as we know, we're good.
I think because like they're willingly doing it.
Yeah.
And like drag is fine, right? Like people are okay with it. And it's not making fun of people in drag. It's just
that's what I wasn't. That's where I was like, is this? Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so we're good with it. If anyone has a problem with it,
can I make a call?
Yeah, okay.
Hello?
Hey Sam, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Are you eating?
I sure am.
Hey, I had to make a call. We're recording our podcast right now, and I had a question that I knew that you would be able to answer.
Oh shit! All right.
Have you watched Friday Night Lights before?
Nope.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Damn. Did I fail?
There's no. You're doing great so far.
Oh, okay. All
right. There's a scene in episode 10 of Friday Night Lights in which the football team comes out dressed in drag. Is that offensive or not? Like as cheerleaders for a pep rally.
Okay. Does everybody laugh?
Yes. It's meant to be comedic.
Okay. It's probably not great.
Probably not great.
Yeah.
Okay.
It also depends on sort of the movie itself. So like, are the football players like the that uber masculine type?
Some of them. Depends on the player. One of them's a real Goofus Maloofus.
I know people who would be really mad at that, but
okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we were talking about it, and we kind of got to a point where we were like, "Is this offensive? Should we be?"
Yeah, I feel like it's on the verge of like making fun of.
Right.
People. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ask him if he's okay if this is on the podcast.
Are you okay? Are you okay if this phone call is on the podcast? I've got you on speaker. If not, we can cut it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, if I added anything to the conversation.
You did. You actually shed light on it. We were truly unsure of if this was okay. So
for a second, I was like, "Is this live? Because I was so really glad I didn't just scream out, "Oh, I'm super high right now." Because I am. I'm super high. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, anything else?
No, I think that's it for now. We'll call you if we have any other consulting that we need.
All right.
All right.
Talk to you later.
All right. See you, man. Thanks. Bye.
Nice.
All right. We have our answer.
Okay. So I was justified in wondering, at least.
Yes.
Is this
absolutely.
okay? Yeah.
It hadn't even crossed my mind. So.
All right. So we're going to officially cancel that moment.
Yes.
That pep rally's canceled.
Pep rally's canceled.
All right. So then we see Lyla. She's got a note in her locker calling her a slut, just like everyone else has in this episode. Some random guy comes up and like slams on the locker next to her.
Bangs
and,
on her locker.
Yells something at her.
Times, yeah.
It was weird. I just put okay in my notes. But Mrs. Taylor sees something going on, so she kind of takes Lyla in, counsels her as a good guidance counselor does. And Lyla has a moment where she kind of comes clean that since Jason's accident, she doesn't care about any of this, like Dylan, Panther football, cheerleading, nothing. And that, in fact, she's going to go ahead and quit the cheerleading squad, which is obviously a big deal for Lyla Garrity to be calling it quits, as we
pretty much
later.
Like part of her identity, especially as a character in a TV show. Like that's what she is.
Yes, exactly. So as I feel like I've been saying since about episode 2, this feels like a big turning point for Lyla. Eventually she's going to be turned all the way, but we're still in process, I guess. So she's quitting the squad. She's quitting the squad. We see Smash popping some pills.
And he runs a real fast 40.
Yes. Coach is like, whatever he is eating, we need to
on it.
Yeah, keep doing that. Well, Coach, he is eating hormones.
Yes.
Then
he's juicing, Coach.
Yeah.
You don't want to encourage. That's first it was the slip up of telling Saracen to get somebody in the back of his car. Now you're telling Smash to keep eating whatever he's eating. You're having some real vocal missteps.
This is very problematic. Yeah. Matt comes in to talk to Coach about the Julie situation. And in a real power move, Coach immediately corrects his grammar as he's kind of opening his arguments. Coach just flips that grammar issue on him, which is a great power play. Like,
it is.
Yeah. Matt basically tells Coach he can't stop Matt and Julie from seeing each other. Coach shuts him down, but Matt kind of holds his ground. We don't really see the end of the conversation. It cuts away, but
right. But I definitely got the vibe that Coach Taylor won.
Yes, absolutely.
He did not. The standing up to Coach Taylor did not go as planned.
Yeah. We have a tiny little scene of Lila's mom trying to console Lyla. I was not going to even mention this, except until Lila's mom had this line. This is my worship director coming through. You know what my mama used to say? God created sin so that we might know his mercy. No.
Angie, during that line, was like, that sounds like the tagline for Platt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Cold.
Wow, Angie. That is not good theology. I'll just say God did not create sin so that we might know his mercy. If you want to get into that deeper with me, just send me a message, but we'll leave it there for the podcast. Don't listen to Lila's mom on this.
We do get family dinner with Smash family and Waverly's family.
Yep.
Waverly's dad asks Smash about how the SAT class is going, which is a real awkward moment.
Yes.
Smash kind of tries to press into what's happened in Waverly's life.
Yeah.
Since they last saw each other, which we're not really, I don't think we get a definitive amount of time.
No, but it's been a while. She had changed enough that he didn't recognize her.
Yeah.
When he was far too aggressively pursuing her at school.
Mm-hmm.
But Waverly's explanation is that she was doing, or actually this was from the pastor. The pastor said it, that she was doing mission work in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And Smash kind of tries to press into that a little more, and she kind of sidesteps, like, nice people, good rewarding work, like nothing.
Answers.
Yeah. So that's all we get out of her for that. Riggins shows up at Street's house and it tells him what's happening to Lyla, kind of the hell that she's being put through at school.
Yeah. It's really like, basically like, she really needs you right now, man.
Yeah.
Like, I know that, stuff sucks, but.
Then tries to apologize a little bit again. And Street, in what I considered to be an improvement in his response to Tim, says, "Not right now, Tim." You know, it's not just a flat out like, nope, go away, never come back. But it is, no, I'm still not ready to make things right between us. Once again, Julie informs her parents that she's riding with Matt and Landry to school and also going to the movies with Matt on Saturday.
Yep, before the cheerleading competition, so they'll have time to make it.
Yes. Coach says after that, he's talking with Tammy, he says he's going to have a little Matt chat. Going to have a little talk with Saracen, have a little Matt chat. And we see that Matt chat, and he basically assigns Matt to watch the last 5 games of their next opponent. That they're going to play the following week. So
not the next day, but the following week, which we'll get into in episode 11.
Yeah.
We do get a peek into this week's game against the Timberwolves, which results in an easy W. It's not even covered basically in the show.
Yeah, we don't see any actual game footage. We just see the news talking about how Smash tore it up, basically. And then Smash and Waverly are out on a date after is it after the game?
I believe so. I don't know no, that's too late because it was an away game. It has to be like the next night.
Yeah, but the cheerleading thing is Saturday.
Oh, you're right.
So it's got to be like after the game, which is weird.
Still operates on weird hours.
Yeah, they got potentially diners open till all hours of the night, and football practice is happening until 3 a.m.
Smash never sleeps.
No, he doesn't. In fact, when that late night football practice was called, he was eating breakfast cereal. So that just shows you.
Tells you what kind of schedule Smash Williams is on.
Yeah. So they're out on a day after the game. Smash points out that she never wants to talk about Africa, which is weird because most people who have that experience would want to be talking about all the time.
All they want to talk about, yeah.
He pops a nosebleed, which he's a little embarrassed about. And then she points out that she doesn't think that he spent that money on an SAT course. So they're kind of both like calling each other out a little bit.
Yeah, something's not adding up with both of their stories, and they both see it.
Yep. Then we get Lyla creepily hanging out outside of Jason's house again. She's turning into a real stalker this episode. Maybe kind of borderline her behavior here. But he sees her out the window. There's a little bit in between, but we can just flash forward. He does go out, talk to Lyla. They fight it out a little bit. She begs him for forgiveness, and he says, I just can't. I just can't forgive you.
Yeah, he's not ready yet.
Yep.
So we get Coach, who's late for the cheerleading event because he played a game of golf with some slow golfers all morning, apparently.
Buddy was one of them.
Oh, Buddy, okay.
Yep.
Tammy lets Coach know that Julie's going to be riding with Matt because she's been watching game tape with Matt all day. Julie leaves a message with Tammy regarding the game film and how to approach the Westcott defense. I don't know if you wrote down that quote or not.
Yeah. Well, not perfectly, but they need to run like ISO because they have a fat short corner who's slow or something like that. So, and Coach has to admit, like, yeah, that's actually pretty good advice.
Yeah. Well, he was like, "She really say that just like that?"
Yeah. He was pretty impressed. Actually, he had to give it up to Julie for that. Tim goes over to the Garrity household to tell Lyla that she should compete in the cheerleading thing. Buddy does not want. Buddy's pretty defensive. Like, what do you want, son?
Yeah.
But Tim gives Lyla a little pep talk. Like, I see in you when you compete the same thing that I feel, where nothing else matters, in that moment. So he encourages her to do it. So then I just refer to the cheerleading thing as the cheerleading thing. I don't know actually what it is.
It's cheer nationals is what I wrote. There's another word in there. But.
Yeah, there's more to that than that. I thought it was something classic. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there was something classic. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Never mind what I said.
If this show is not about the football, it's definitely not about the cheerleading. So, so anyway, we're at the cheerleading thing, the cheerleading classic thing. Smash has another nosebleed. Coach Taylor sees it.
Coach sees it. Yeah.
Yep. Are nosebleeds side effect of steroid use? I've never really heard of this.
Not one that I'm familiar with, but let's look it up.
Oh, I thought you were going to call somebody for that.
Oh no,
hey, I know you've used steroids.
I got a steroid guy. All right, carpal tunnel syndrome, increased insulin resistance. Hold on, really? Type 2 diabetes, swelling in arms and legs, joint and muscle pain for men, enlargement of breast tissue, increased risk of certain cancers.
Okay, I just searched nosebleed symptom of steroid abuse or steroid use. And of the 97 men interviewed in this study I'm looking at, 22% got nosebleeds. So I'd say that's a pretty statistically significant number of people.
Yeah, it's a quarter almost.
So apparently that's a thing. But Coach sees it this time. Lyla shows up kind of last minute to cheer. And can we talk about, I don't know if you made a note of this. So there's like the guy that's giving them all the rules for the cheerleading competition. This is before Lyla arrives.
He's
giving them all the rules.
We're doing these rules, which means no jewelry. No.
Yeah. He's really specific on this. And then, so Lyla comes and she like checks in with this guy and she says her name, Lyla Garrity. And the guy like gives like this knowing like, oh, and she's like, yeah, the whore with the website. Like this guy
the whore with the website. Yeah.
This guy had apparently knew who she was and that, she was being pegged as a whore with the website. Yeah. So that was weird because this was like a 40-year-old man with a clipboard that knew about the high school girl. So anyway, he creepily acknowledges that he knows who she is, which is weird. And basically she goes out there and competes like a boss, like really just nails it. Jason's there in the crowd, and it's nice because Lyla finally gets a W. I feel like Ella's for Lyla, but she finally gets a dub. So and in fact, the episode ends on like a slow motion shot of her smiling, which was maybe a little much. Peter Berg or whoever directed this, but that was the end. The one deleted scene I thought was worth mentioning was a little bit of Landry, which is always good. I feel like Lance shows up in the deleted scenes a lot, which is a bummer. There was a scene of Landry advising Matt that he just needs to get a new girlfriend that isn't the coach's daughter, that would just make life a lot easier. And he is trying to convince him not to go talk to Coach and kind of make that stand that Saracen does. So that was the one deleted scene that I thought was worth talking about. Landry, once again, giving Matt basically unsolicited, uninformed relationship advice. Yeah. All right, we are back. We're going to talk about some of the characters in this episode. We took a little break there. I just want to point out that in high school, when I initially wore this Platt Black Panthers football jersey, I was about 165, I would say. And now I am dang near 80, 90 pounds heavier than that. And this has turned into a belly shirt. Can't really see it, but like if I sit up at all, I got some midriff showing. So, man, yeah, just like 2006 when this aired was a long time ago. It's been a long time since I've put on the old maroon and white. Yeah. And it shows for sure. So we're going to talk about some characters here. We're going to get into a little bit more in depth on some of the main characters of this particular episode. And I would say this episode really kind of mostly revolves around Lyla. Would you say the same thing?
I would agree 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, Lyla takes it pretty hard here. Yeah. What do you feel like we learn about Lyla? What do we feel about Lyla even at this point?
Yeah. So while we've kind of seen Lyla as the, naive, typical high school girl, I guess, in the last 9 episodes, we really start to see things really fall apart for her, and due to the decisions that she's made, and because of how children act.
Right.
So we like I said earlier in the episode, I started to feel really, really bad for Lyla, who is a character that I hadn't had much sympathy for prior to this in the show.
Yeah.
So,
but if I remember correctly, you were pretty pro Lyla coming into this rewatch, right? Like you remembered feeling very
correct,
fondly.
But it may also just be because I think that she's extremely attractive. I think that I may have,
yeah.
I may have put aside everything else that happens with Lyla because she's extremely attractive.
Yeah, that's fair. For sure. But yeah, we're starting to feel pretty, both of us starting to feel pretty sympathetic towards Lyla. Yeah, and I feel like even in the 14 years since this has come around, I feel like there's even been kind of a shift in the overall viewpoint to issues like this, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
So I feel like I'm watching this differently in 2020 than I would have in 2007 or 2008 or whenever I actually watched this.
For sure.
And for the better, definitely. Like just like the episode says, it's different for girls. Like I think we've all kind of realized that, like, oh dang, we have not been completely fair in how we handle these situations in men versus women and stuff like that. So yeah, hey, here's the progress, I guess, on the social side of things here. It appears still at this point that things are pretty closed off between Lyla and Street.
Yeah, and you can't really blame Street for that either. So we also definitely see his side of that particular situation.
Yeah, I think for a relationship like that we assume has been many, many years long, or as far as high school relationships go, I don't know. Right. 9 months is an eternity in a high school relationship, but
they've definitely, like, it's implied they've been together for a while.
Yes. And planned on getting married. Those things, even in the midst of infidelity, as it were, those things don't just go away. Right. Yeah. So I guess it's understandable that Lyla is like creepily hanging outside of Street's house on multiple occasions. Yeah. Like that's understandable. And it's also understandable that Street is just extremely hurt and not ready to deal with any of this.
Not having it, yeah.
I mean, he's paralyzed, but so that probably has a lot to do with it too. There's a lot more going on. So Lyla and Street still at a pretty complicated point for sure. Our new character, Waverly. You do not have much of a recollection of Waverly.
Like I said, outside of one line regarding her father that's said by Smash.
Right.
I remember her existing. Like I remember, this is kind of a spoiler, but Smash has a girlfriend being a plot point of season 1. Yeah. But I don't remember much of what happens with her storyline. So I guess it'll all come back to me as we watch it again. But
all right. Well, I won't spoil it for you then. And I feel bad because, so I'm looking at Waverly. So my daughter, my 4-year-old and I, we watch SmackDown, we watch wrestling together, and we always like thumbs up or thumbs down whoever's coming on screen, to like indicate, oh, we like Otis, or boo, King Corbin, so she's always doing that.
Both good choices, by the way.
Yeah, correct opinions by my 4-year-old on professional wrestlers. But when Waverly came on screen, I literally thumbs down, booed her. Boo. Okay, but I feel bad because when I initially watched this, I did not realize that I would struggle with many of the same issues that Waverly struggles with in the coming episodes, which is one of the reasons why I did not like her. So I maybe need to check myself on my Waverly hate, because maybe I have more in common with Waverly than I thought I would in 2007.
Interesting. Well, I'm excited to dig more into that as this goes on.
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
A window into the mind of
I don't completely understand why Smash is so smitten with Waverly. Like, it's just instant.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it started off as hot new girl, which I mean, Smash.
Yeah, that's Smash.
That's kind of part of who he is. And I think, it's something about, we have a history, like, this girl from when I was young. Like, I still, I think he looks at it as kind of a conquest of sorts as well. So I think that's a big part of it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get lots more Smash and Waverly in the coming episodes. Matt and Julie, they are taking off. Do we call them a relationship yet? I don't know.
I think they're close. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely both interested as Matt tells Coach.
Forcefully as possible, as forcibly as Matt Saracen can articulate, they have mutual interest.
Yes. They're both interested in each other, and that's not going to change. So
yeah. So we're seeing this take off. We do get the little kiss from Julie. That's how I felt about it, which I think is a positive sign. So living under kind of the eye of Coach.
Yes.
With the complicated situation of Matt being a quarterback for his girlfriend's father's football team. Any other characters you want to touch on, or should we move on to our awards?
That I think covers all the important characters for the episode.
Yep. All right, we'll be right back with our awards for episode 10. All right, we are going to get into our awards for this week for episode 10. Let's start out with Coach. How are we feeling about Coach this episode?
Yeah, I don't see a lot of inspiration coming from him. We don't really see a game. We don't really spend a lot of time in practice.
No.
We see him mostly just angry.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm gonna give him a low number, maybe like a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, I had him at just a neutral 0. Like there wasn't much happening here. We just mostly saw him as a dad, So I can appreciate what he did as a father, even if it wasn't the best move, even if it wasn't completely justified. So I'm willing to bump up to a little bit of a positive number and just give him a 1.
Even though he wasn't inspiring as a coach, you love to see somebody maybe up for their child in the way that he does, which is slightly inspiring. I'm not a father, and God forbid, maybe someday, but
God forbid I become a father. Yeah, okay. So should we just go with a 1 there?
Yeah, I'm
slightly positive, slightly more positive than negative. So we'll give him a 1. Julie, the Julie Taylor hate-o-meter. I'm very interested to see what you have to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, we got to go in the negatives again. here, I imagine. I like Julie a lot in this first season, which we've talked a number of times about how this first season isn't indicative of how awful she truly becomes. And first time viewers of the show may be confused about the hate-o-meter. But let's go, like a -3, -4.
Interesting. I mean, I hear where you're coming from. I did go positive on the hate-o-meter this week.
Okay.
Simply because she repeatedly informs her parents of what's going to happen. Like, I am dating Matt Saracen. We are going to the movies. Like, that's kind of Julie's move.
Mm-hmm.
And having once been a 15-year-old, like, I understand. However, not super likable. So I went with a 3 on the hate-o-meter. Okay. So I don't know if we balance each other out there and we just stick or what do we land on?
I'm honestly cool with whatever. I'm okay with going into the positives. Because I understand where you're coming from. On the other hand, I've only ever been on the 15-year-old side of that thing and not on the father side of that.
Yes.
Argument. So once again, I can't really relate to that. But I think if we maybe meet in the middle at like a 0 or even, I'll even give you a point and go in +1.
Okay, let's go 1. Simply because we've been really nice to Julie so far.
That's true.
So we're going to go with a 1 for both Coach's inspo rating and Julie's hate-o-meter. Tim Riggins is really making the Big Rig beer tally boring these weeks.
It'll make a triumphant return of that. Yes. I'm 100% sure, but we're sitting at 0 for this particular episode.
Yep, and that's fine. Good for Tim. I mentioned a music cue of mine, but do you have a music cue of the week?
I have got 2 that I wrote down.
Okay.
The first being Rewind by Stereophonics.
Ooh.
Stereophonics is a band that I'm only familiar with. They had a song called Maybe Tomorrow on the soundtrack of Crash.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a song that I had on my iPod for a number of years.
Yeah, that was right about this time, too, when this show came out. Yep.
Yeah. So that's one that I had. And then I also had Storm by Jose Gonzalez, which closes out the episode where it's in that final scene. Jose Gonzalez, who is probably most well known for his cover of a song by The Knife, and the song itself, Heartbeats by The Knife. And his one of the few covers that I like better than the original.
Oh yeah. I already mentioned mine, but this was also very coincidental that just this morning, friend of the show, Sarah Wines, on her Instagram account was asking for pep band songs. She wanted to make a pep band playlist. And so I submitted a bunch of them to her that we played in the Platt Black Panther pep band, but I forgot about Rock and Roll Part 2. So when that came on during the pep rally, I was like, oh, dang. I should have let Sarah Wines know Rock and Roll Part 2. Hopefully she got that on her own. But that was my notable music cue. I don't really think we have a winner for this category.
I am going to go ahead and in the same way that you vetoed Stranglehold by Ted Nugent, I'm going to veto Rock and Roll Part 2 by Gary Glitter, because as much as I am not a fan of Ted Nugent as a human being and as a musician, and he is not a friend of the show, Gary Glitter is like a criminal.
For real? Worse than Ted Nugent?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I will strike that from the record. It will. Yeah. Okay. That didn't exist. Buddy Garrity, he's on a good streak here.
Yeah, he did not have a whole lot to do in this episode at all.
No, just being a really good car salesman. I guess we can kind of infer that he's ripping people off.
His moment of being like, "Don't talk to me too long. I'll have you driving out here without or with a new truck."
Yeah. So not too bad for Buddy this week. Good on him for that. Our quotes of the week. I have a couple submissions. We've already talked about several of them. My
choice, honestly, the only one I really have written down is the exchange between Coach and Tammy. They had a blanket, You're an idiot.
Yep. And likewise, I had the, what do you suppose they're doing in there? Probably having sex, exchange between them. The other one that I said I was saving was when they're in the locker room kind of starting to razz Smash for going after the preacher's daughter. Matt Saracen says, isn't her dad a preacher? And Smash says, what'd you know about it? Last time you went south of the border was the day you were born with your mama on your very first birthday. And then Matt's reply was, my mama lives in Oklahoma. And then everybody starts laughing at him. He's like, what? She does.
Also doubles as the Goofus Maloofus.
Exactly. Yes. So we're possibly instituting a new award here.
Yeah, we're thinking about it.
We're thinking about including the Matt Saracen Goofus Maloofus moment of the week. And that was one of my nominations for that. So that doubles. I also have Matt apologizing for kissing Julie after the game. So,
yeah.
Quote of the episode. Do we go with, they had a blanket, pure and simple?
I'm good with that. Yeah.
I think so. And that was literally the only one previous to my submissions on IMDb that they had listed on the quote section. That has changed now that I'm a contributor. And the Goofus Maloofus moment, we go with, what do you think on that?
I think the apology for trying to kiss her. Yeah.
It was
or for
perfect.
not trying for kissing her.
Yeah, that was very goofusy maloofusy. I didn't think about it for this episode, but I also want to try out another new award. I think we should have the MVP of the week or MVP of the episode.
Okay.
So like, who do we like most? Who do we think had the best episode? So I'm springing this on you.
Yeah.
And I only thought about it for the next episode, but what do we think?
I mean, Lila's the focal point of the episode, but she's definitely not the MVP.
No. It does not go well for her for the most part.
I don't know. Cause maybe, I don't know.
It's not Jason either.
No. Like, I'm tempted to say maybe Smash, just because he gets some good, like, chuckles in.
He gets some good chuckles. He is making some progress with Waverly. It seems, he gets the date and whatnot. I mean, Tammy has two of the best lines.
Yeah, I was thinking if not Smash, then Tammy for sure.
I overall feel better about giving it to Tammy than Smash. I feel like it's an overall strong... no, I don't know. We just got to... I'm okay with either of them. We're gonna go the Platt mayoral race route, and for the first ever MVP of the episode, we're gonna flip for it.
All right, I've got a Mississippi quarter.
Nice.
Head smash, tails Tammy.
All right, sounds good. For the first ever MVP of the episode,
tails. Taylor.
Tammy Taylor, congratulations! You are episode 10's MVP of the episode.
Episode 10, and also the inaugural.
MVP. Yeah. I honestly, I feel good about that. I'm happy that it came up Tammy on that.
Me too.
Yep.
You know what they say? If you flip a coin and you hope for one outcome, do you really need to flip the coin?
Yep.
Did we need to flip the coin?
I didn't. And that just leaves us with our episode rating. I felt very positively about this episode. Like I mentioned at the top, I had a good time, and I went with an 8 on this. Just a middle of the road 8.
I was going to go with just a slightly lower 7.
Yep.
So maybe we meet in the middle of 7.5.
Let's go 7 because I got to tell you, spoiler alert, I really enjoyed the next episode.
I did too.
Even more than this episode.
Same.
So I'm fine if this is a 7. So
same.
All right, so I think that's our episode for this week. Episode 10, it's different for girls. Had a good time watching this, really reminding me of why I love the show.
Yes, agreed.
So, yeah, if you're not doing so already, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. We got a YouTube page. We got, look at us on Spotify, wherever all those places. Wherever you listen to podcasts, check us out. And feel free to shoot a line our way if you have any questions, Friday Night Lights related opinions or questions,
etc.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Anthony. It was a pleasure, sir.
As always.
All right.
Let's touch God this time, boys. Let's touch God.